talking about funding, we understand that the government of Nigeria has also been looking at alternative, accessing alternative sources of funding like the Sukuk bond. Um, Times and again, a lot of people have always tried to ask about the Sukuk bond, which we know was oversubscribed in 2020. Take us through this, Sukuk bond. In the stretch of some of the roads, we've seen, uh, indication showing that these projects are being sponsored or financed rather by the Sukuk bond. So how far is the government gone rather with this bond, and does it also go around the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria?
Yes, it does. But let's just pivot back a little bit and to say that we're not doing anything unusual here. This is what governments across the world do. If you research the use of Sukuk, it is just Islamic type funding. Why it differs from conventional non-Islamic funding is that it is not based on interest. So a Sukuk lending doesn't charge you interest. That is seen as usury according to Islamic legal system. But it benefits from income from the project renter. And so the Sukuk has been a useful tool to supplement our budgetary limitations in terms of how much we have undertaken to execute. And perhaps let me dimension that budgetary limitation for you. The budget of the Ministry of Works, when I took office in 2015, the budget from the last administration, which ran into the later part when the Buhari administration took over, was 18 billion for all of Nigeria's roads. So that was not a budget that was going to transform anything. So moving the budget from that year to almost 400 billion meant that we had to find resources to really fund what we believed was the appropriate commitment to make to increase the capital spending for the nation in order to make the economy much more competitive and much more productive. You know that there are representatives from every constituency in this country, in Parliament and the National Assembly, so everybody wants to be treated equally. So the first bond was 100 billion, and we had to divide it into 6 so that each zone is first taken care of, and that gave us about 16 point something billion. And then on the basis of that, we now looked at the very strategic routes within each zone that we needed to accelerate. So that goes back to then the priorities. What are the priorities of government? Priorities of government was to move heavy-duty vehicles, heavy goods vehicles across different parts of the country to support trade. Priority of government was to evacuate our ports efficiently. Priority of government was to move our petroleum products effectively. So if you then go to where the Sukuk is being used, like the Econ Bridge was constructed by the Sukuk. So it shows that if there is steady funding, Econ Bridge took barely 3 years to finish because there was steady funding. But we have bridges that have been in construction since 2002, 2006, because funding is not consistent. So that's what the Sukuk can do. So you will see progress on roads like inside Lagos, for example, you will see the Outer Marina almost completed. That's a federal road. You will see on the Lokoja, Abuja highway, you will see on the Chan Numan that I mentioned to you. The Sukuk is also helping on the gridlock areas, some of the gridlock areas of Kenya and all of that. So we're using it in that way to deal with some of our most difficult and compelling and immediate challenges.